The scream echoed through the quiet suburban street like a gunshot. Aria Thompson froze on her front porch, her keys slipping from her fingers as she saw the spray-painted slur glaring from her garage door. "Dyke, go home." It was the third time this month. But this one felt different. Raw, personal. As if the whole neighborhood had finally declared war on her secret life. She had always known Maplewood, Illinois, wasn't the most progressive place. A small town on the outskirts of Chicago, where church picnics and block parties masked the undercurrents of judgment. Aria, 28, had grown up here, hiding her truth behind a facade of normalcy. But 6 months ago when she started dating Jordan openly, well, as openly as two women could in a place like this, the whispers turned to shouts. Jordan arrived minutes later, her beat-up Honda screeching to a halt. "Aria, what the hell?" she gasped, rushing to her side. Jordan Hayes, 27, with her athletic build and no-nonsense attitude, had moved to Maplewood for a teaching job at the local high school. They met at a coffee shop, bonding over shared dreams of escaping to the city. Now their relationship was the town's latest scandal. Aria's hands trembled as she wiped at the paint, but it was dried solid. "It's Mrs. Hargrove," she muttered. "I saw her watching from her window yesterday when we kissed goodbye." The elderly neighbor had been the first to spread rumors, calling Aria's mother, Evelyn, to warn her about the unnatural goings-on. Evelyn Thompson, 55, was the epitome of Midwestern propriety, a widow who ran the local bakery and volunteered at the church. She had raised Aria alone after her husband's death in a car accident when Aria was 10. Evelyn's world revolved around tradition, family dinners, and avoiding controversy. When Aria came out to her 2 years ago, Evelyn's response was a tight-lipped "we'll pray about it," followed by months of awkward silence. That night, as Aria and Jordan scrubbed the garage under the cover of darkness, Evelyn pulled into the driveway. Her face paled at the sight. "Oh, Ariandra, what have you done?" she whispered, not accusatorily, but with a weariness that cut deeper than any slur. "I didn't do anything, Mom," Aria snapped, her voice cracking. "This is what happens when people like me exist in a place like this." Jordan placed a steadying hand on her back, but Aria shrugged it off, the pressure building inside her like a storm. The next morning, the harassment escalated. Aria found her mailbox stuffed with anonymous letters, Bible verses condemning homosexuality, threats to report her to her boss at the marketing firm in Chicago. At work, she could escape, commuting an hour each way to pretend her life was normal. But home was a battlefield. Jordan suggested they move in together, to an apartment in the city. "We don't have to fight this alone," she urged over dinner that evening. Aria hesitated, leaving meant abandoning Evelyn, who relied on her for emotional support. "What about Mom? She's not getting any younger." Their conversation was interrupted by a knock at the door. It was Pastor Reynolds from the church, flanked by 2 deacons. "Mrs. Thompson invited us," he said solemnly. Evelyn stood behind them, her eyes downcast. "We need to talk about saving your soul, Aria." The intervention was a disaster. Pastor Reynolds quoted scriptures, the deacons nodded gravely, and Evelyn wrung her hands. Aria felt cornered, her heart pounding. "This isn't about my soul," she exploded. "It's about who I love." Jordan stood by her, but the room thickened with tension. As they left, Evelyn pulled Aria aside. "I just want what's best for you. The neighbors. They're talking. It could ruin everything." Aria's chest tightened. Was her mother choosing the town's approval over her own daughter? Days blurred into a haze of avoidance. Aria dodged calls from friends who'd heard the rumors, and Jordan grew frustrated. "We can't keep hiding," she said one night as they lay in bed. Aria knew she was right, but the fear of losing her family roots paralyzed her. Then came the block party. Every summer, Maplewood threw a massive gathering in the park. This year, Aria decided to attend with Jordan, a bold statement. As they walked hand in hand, stares followed. Whispers turned to jeers. "Freak show," someone muttered. A group of teens from the high school, Jordan's students, laughed openly. It peaked when Mr. Wilkins, the neighborhood watch captain, confronted them. "This is a family event. Take your perversion elsewhere." Jordan stepped forward, her teacher voice firm. "Love isn't perversion, sir." But the crowd murmured agreement with Wilkins. Aria felt the world spin. She released Jordan's hand and fled, tears streaming. Back home, she collapsed on the porch, the weight of rejection crushing her. Evelyn found her there. "Honey," she began, but Arya cut her off. "Just leave me alone, Mom. You've made your choice." That night, alone in her room, Arya pondered her options. Stay and fight or run? The decision loomed, but little did she know, the real storm was just beginning. The following week brought a new level of torment. Arya's car tires were slashed in the driveway overnight. The police dismissed it as vandalism, but Arya knew better. "No evidence," the officer said with a shrug, his eyes flicking judgmentally toward Jordan's photo on her phone. Work became her sanctuary, but even there cracks appeared. Her boss, a conservative type, pulled her into his office. "Rumors from your hometown are circulating. Clients are asking questions. Keep your personal life personal." Arya nodded, swallowing her rage. How had the poison spread so far? Jordan faced her own battles at school. Parents complained about the lesbian teacher influencing their kids. The principal called her in, suggesting she tone it down. Jordan refused. "I'm here to teach math, not hide who I am." But the stress showed, dark circles under her eyes, a shorter temper. One evening, as they cooked dinner, Jordan broached the subject again. "Arya, we need to talk about us. This town's eating us alive." Arya paused, knife in hand. "What are you saying?" Jordan's eyes softened. "Maybe a break. Until things calm down." The words hit like a slap. Arya set the knife down, her voice steady but laced with hurt. "A break? After everything?" Jordan reached for her, but Arya pulled away. "I thought we were in this together." They argued late into the night, voices rising. Jordan accused Arya of clinging to a toxic home. Arya countered that Jordan was abandoning her when she needed support most. In the heat, Jordan stormed out, slamming the door. Arya sat alone, the silence deafening. The next day, Evelyn noticed the tension. "Where's Jordan?" she asked over coffee. Arya mumbled something about work. Evelyn pressed gently. "You two fighting because of all this?" Arya's defenses crumbled. "It's everything, Mom. The neighbors, the church, you." Evelyn's face fell. "Me? I love you, Arya." But her words felt hollow. That afternoon, Arya decided to confront the source. She marched to Mrs. Hargrove's house, knocking firmly. The old woman answered, peering suspiciously. "What do you want?" Arya took a breath. "Why are you doing this? Spreading lies, vandalizing my home." Mrs. Hargrove sneered. "It's not lies. You're flaunting sin in our faces. Think of the children." The exchange drew onlookers. Soon a small crowd gathered, murmurs growing. Mr. Wilkins joined in. "We've tolerated enough. If you don't change, we'll make sure you leave." Threats hung in the air, petitions, boycotts of Evelyn's bakery. Arya retreated, shaken. Back home, she called Jordan, leaving a voicemail. "I'm sorry. Come back." But Jordan didn't respond. That night, Arya scrolled through old photos, her heart aching. Had she sacrificed too much for a town that hated her? Evelyn knocked on her door later. "I heard what happened. With the neighbors." Arya looked up, eyes red. "Yeah? Going to tell me to pray it away?" Evelyn sat beside her. "No. I don't know what to say." For the first time they talked honestly. Evelyn admitted her fears, losing friends, her standing in the community. "But you're my daughter," she said softly. "I can't lose you." Arya wanted to believe her, but doubt lingered. The turning point came at church that Sunday. Pastor Reynolds preached on family values, subtly targeting deviant lifestyles. Evelyn sat rigidly beside Arya, who had come only to support her mother. Midway, a parishioner stood. "We need to address the elephant in the room. Arya Thompson's influence on our youth." Murmurs erupted. Evelyn's face flushed. Arya braced for humiliation, but Evelyn rose. "Enough," she declared, her voice trembling but firm. "My daughter is not an influence. She's a good person, and who she loves is none of your business." The church fell silent. Pastor Reynolds stammered. "Evelyn, think about what you're saying." But she continued. "I've been silent too long, fearing judgment. But family means standing up, not hiding." Arya stared in shock as Evelyn grabbed her hand and walked out, heads turning. Outside, Evelyn hugged her tightly. "I'm sorry it took so long." Tears flowed freely. Word spread like wildfire. Neighbors whispered. Some avoided Evelyn at the bakery, but others, quiet allies, showed support. A young couple sent flowers. A teen from Jordan's class messaged encouragement. Jordan returned that evening, drawn by the news. Your mom. That's huge. Arya nodded, hope flickering. But the backlash intensified. Petitions circulated to boycott the bakery. Evelyn's business suffered, customers dwindling. Arya felt guilty. This is my fault. Evelyn shook her head. No, it's theirs. We'll fight. Together, they planned a community meeting, inviting open dialogue. Jordan joined, her resolve renewed. As preparations mounted, tensions peaked. Anonymous calls threatened worse if they didn't back down. Arya questioned if the price was too high. Her mother's livelihood, their safety. But Evelyn's transformation inspired her. For the first time, Arya felt truly seen. The community meeting was set for the town hall, a neutral ground. Arya, Jordan, and Evelyn arrived early, nerves taut. Posters advertised open dialogue on acceptance, but skeptics called it a recruitment rally. As people filed in, the divide was clear. Supporters sat on one side, progressive families, a few LGBTQ allies from Chicago. Opponents clustered opposite, church members, concerned parents. Mr. Wilkins stood at the front, arms crossed. Evelyn opened. Thank you for coming. This isn't about changing minds overnight. It's about understanding. Her voice wavered, but she pressed on, sharing her journey from denial to acceptance. I almost lost my daughter to fear. Don't let that happen to you. Arya spoke next, her story raw. I've lived here my whole life. I pay taxes, volunteer, contribute. But because I love Jordan, I'm a threat. Jordan squeezed her hand. Murmurs rippled. Then came the opposition. Mrs. Hargrove stood. The Bible is clear. We can't condone this. Others echoed, citing morals, children. A heated debate ensued, shouts, accusations. One man yelled, "You're tearing the community apart." Jordan intervened calmly. No, hate is teaching kids to bully differences. That's the real tear. A few nodded, but tempers flared. The meeting ended in chaos, no resolution. Afterward, backlash hit hard. Evelyn's bakery saw picketers with signs. God hates sin. Sales plummeted. Area's jobs suffered too. Clients pulled out, citing controversy. Jordan faced a formal complaint at school. In the midst of it, a betrayal stung deepest. Area's cousin, Sarah, whom she'd confided in years ago, leaked private emails to the local paper. The article painted Arya as defiant, twisting her words. Family should stick together, Sarah said in an interview. But this is too much. Arya confronted her. Why, Sarah? We were close. Sarah shrugged. Aunt Evelyn's embarrassing us all. The rift tore at Arya. Family bonds fraying. Evelyn, seeing her daughter's pain, doubled down. She reached out to media, sharing their story. A Chicago news outlet picked it up, framing it as small-town intolerance versus family love. Support poured in, donations, messages. But locally, isolation grew. Jordan suggested legal action. Sue for harassment. Arya hesitated. That could escalate. But when eggs shattered their windows that night, they filed a report. The police investigated reluctantly, finding no leads. Amid the turmoil, Arya and Jordan's relationship strained. Late nights arguing about next steps. We could leave, Jordan said. Start fresh. Arya resisted. Running means they win. But the constant fear wore her down. Evelyn's health faltered under stress. A panic attack landed her in the ER. Arya rushed there, guilt overwhelming. Mom, I'm so sorry. Evelyn gripped her hand. Don't be. This is my fight too now. Discharged, Evelyn rallied. She organized a bake sale fundraiser for LGBTQ youth, defying critics. Surprisingly, some neighbors helped, hidden allies emerging. The event drew a crowd, mixing supporters and hecklers. During it, Mr. Wilkins approached. This divides us more. Evelyn met his gaze. No, silence did that. He walked away, but seeds of doubt planted. Arya reflected on her choices. Had coming out been worth the pain? The answer crystallized in small victories. A teen thanking Jordan for inspiration. A family reconciling. Yet darker days loomed. An arson attempt on the bakery, caught on camera, But the perpetrator fled. The community reeled. Pastor Reynolds called for peace, but divisions deepened. In a quiet moment, Arya and Jordan reaffirmed their love. "We've lost so much," Arya whispered. Jordan held her. But gained truth. Evelyn joined them. The trio united against the storm. As the investigation dragged, Arya faced a moral dilemma. Press charges if caught, or forgive for healing. The choice weighed heavy, echoing broader debates on justice versus mercy. The arsonist was caught. A local teen, influenced by online hate groups but egged on by neighborhood rhetoric. His parents, church members, begged for leniency. "He's just a kid," they pleaded. Arya, Jordan, and Evelyn met with the DA. "What do you want?" he asked. Arya paused, memories flashing, slurs, threats. Her mother's our visit. "Justice," she said. But Evelyn added, "and understanding. Maybe community service, education on tolerance." The decision sparked debate. Some called it soft, others compassionate. The teen was sentenced to probation, mandatory counseling, and restitution. Arya volunteered to speak at his sessions, sharing her story. The act shifted dynamics. The boy's parents apologized privately. "We didn't realize the impact." Evelyn nodded. "Now you do." Ripples spread. More families questioned their biases. But not all changed. Mrs. Hargrove doubled down, starting a petition to protect traditional values. It gained signatures, pressuring the school board to review Jordan's position. Jordan's hearing was tense. Parents testified against her, citing moral corruption. Students defended her passionately. "Miss Hayes is the best teacher. Her personal life doesn't matter." The board deliberated, ultimately ruling in her favor. No evidence of misconduct. Victory tasted bittersweet. Jordan confided in Arya. "I almost quit. For us." Arya hugged her. "I'm glad you didn't." Their bond strengthened through fire. Evelyn's bakery rebounded with new customers from afar, drawn by the story. She rebranded, adding pride-themed treats. "Love in every bite," the sign read. Old patrons returned sheepishly, some apologizing. Arya's work stabilized too. Her boss, impressed by her resilience, promoted her. "You've got grit." Commuting felt lighter, hope replacing dread. Yet internal conflicts lingered. Arya grappled with forgiveness. Sarah reached out, remorseful. "I was wrong." Arya met her, but trust was shattered. "Actions have consequences," she said. They parted uneasily, a wound healing slowly. Evelyn faced her own demons. At a church meeting, she challenged Pastor Reynolds. "Where's the love in judgment?" He listened and for the first time invited an LGBTQ speaker. Change crept in. As summer faded, Arya proposed to Jordan during a quiet picnic. "Through all this, you're my constant." Jordan accepted tearfully. They planned a small ceremony, inviting only true allies. The wedding stirred fresh controversy. Invites to family drew mixed responses. Evelyn beamed, helping plan. "My girls," she called them. On the day, protesters gathered outside the venue, a Chicago garden. But inside, love prevailed. Evelyn walked Arya down the aisle, her pride evident. Vows exchanged, rings slipped on amid cheers. Post-honeymoon, they returned to Maplewood, committed to advocacy. Arya started a support group for LGBTQ locals. Jordan integrated inclusivity into her curriculum. Evelyn hosted events at the bakery. Challenges persisted, occasional stares, whispers. But the neighborhood evolved. Mr. Wilkins, after his grandson came out, sought Arya's advice. "How do I support him?" She guided gently, bridging gaps. Reflecting, Arya realized the costs. Lost friendships, scarred psyches, financial hits. But gains, authenticity, deeper bonds outweighed them. Evelyn's evolution proved pivotal, showing family could redefine itself. One evening over dinner, Evelyn shared, "I thought tradition meant conformity. Now I know it's about love." Arya smiled, grateful for the awakening. As life normalized, Arya pondered the journey's ethics. Had pushing back been right, or did it fuel more division? The question lingered, inviting introspection. Years passed, but the echoes of that turbulent time shaped their lives. Arya and Jordan bought a house in Maplewood, transforming it into a haven. Their support group grew, helping others navigate coming out. Evelyn, now retired, volunteered there. Her bakery sold to a young couple who kept the inclusive spirit. Scars remained. Arya occasionally woke from nightmares of crowds jeering. Jordan dealt with lingering anxiety at school. Evelyn regretted her initial silence, channeling it into activism, speaking at conferences, advocating for anti-discrimination laws. A new crisis tested them when a national debate on LGBTQ rights heated up. Maplewood's council proposed a family values ordinance, subtly targeting queer visibility. Old opponents resurfaced, petitions in hand. Arya mobilized, organizing rallies. Jordan testified at hearings. Evelyn, frail but fierce, spoke last. I almost lost my family to hate. Don't let this town regress. The vote was close, but the ordinance failed. Cheers erupted, change solidified. Mr. Wilkins, now an ally, voted against it. I've learned, he admitted. In quieter moments, Arya questioned her path. Had staying been stubbornness or courage? Jordan reassured her. It was necessary. For us, for others. Evelyn's health declined. A heart condition from stress. In her final months, she reflected with Arya. I'm proud of you. And of me for changing. Arya held her hand. You saved us, Mom. Evelyn passed peacefully, surrounded by love. Her funeral drew a diverse crowd. Former foes paying respects. Pastor Reynolds officiated, emphasizing redemption. In grief, Arya and Jordan leaned on each other. They adopted a child years later, a girl named Eve after Evelyn. Raising her in Maplewood, they taught tolerance, watching the town bloom. But doubts persisted. Had the battles been worth the personal toll? Arya wrote a memoir, Shattered Silence, sparking discussions nationwide. Readers debated. Sacrifice for progress or self-preservation? As Eve grew, asking about her grandmother's story, Arya shared honestly. Love wins, but not without cost. Jordan added. And family? It's what we choose to build. The legacy endured. A more accepting Maplewood inspired lives. Yet, Arya wondered if true change required such pain. In the end, was forcing societal confrontation the right choice? Or does quiet resilience achieve more lasting peace?